and I'll explain to you how you can calculate your protein needs. If you have a pen or a pencil nearby, I suggest that you take this in hand. What we do is we calculate 1 gram, at least 1 gram, 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of weight. So let's say you weigh 130 pounds, which is approximately 60 kilograms, okay? Then your protein needs will be 1 gram per kilo. So 60 kilos multiplied by 1, that'll give us 60 grams of protein per day. If I weigh more, then we always calculate it based on our healthy weight. If you're very, very slim, then you will be calculating based on a healthy weight, and if you've got more weight, then you're a little overweight, then you calculate based on healthy weight. Let's say that my healthy weight is 165, then I will base the calculation, the protein calculation, on my healthy weight. Once we have calculated protein needs for a day, so let's say it's 60 grams of protein, that's for the entire day, then what we'll do is we'll divide that per meal. Now, I suggest that you calculate 15 grams for a meal and 5 grams for a snack. But it could easily be 10 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams. Okay, so 6 times 10 grams of protein, which means that for me, proteins should be considered to be your passport to better energy. And we'll see a little bit later on the foods that give you good protein. I can tell you about those. The good sources of protein, we think about meat, but it's not exclusive to that. We've got poultry, eggs that have good sources of protein. We have yogurt, fresh cheese, beans, if they are well tolerated, nuts, nut butter, even soya, and there's no contraindication to soya. Soy during chemo could be a soy drink or tofu. Fish has good protein. Shellfish as well gives us good omega-3s as well, and excellent proteins. These foods, the foods that I've just mentioned, you want to try to eat those at each meal. So let's say that it could be a poached egg in the morning, for example, or cottage cheese. It could be poached fish at noon. In the afternoon, you could eat a yogurt or a nut butter on crackers. In the evening, you could eat chicken, well, or chicken that's cooked easily. So you want to eat these proteins every time you have a meal or a snack. The other thing that could help, now sometimes when we have nausea, we hear about all sorts of great foods, but we don't have an appetite. And we've noticed that when we use foods that have a sort of gentle flavor, then that helps. I'm thinking about cream of wheat, for example. Doesn't taste much, but you can eat that with some milk, and it helps. Poached eggs. It's sort of a delicate flavor, and they're easy to eat. Ricotta cheese, which could be very light, easy to eat, not a strong taste, and that can be eaten easily. I'm thinking of poached chicken breasts. Mozzarella cheese, for example, not very strong tasting cheeses. So in that case, it's easier to eat foods that don't taste very, very strong as opposed to meals that are, or foods that are very spicy or lots of flavor. So that's an important element as well. What do we want in addition to that in our menu? Well, the foods that we really want to have in our diet, besides proteins, because proteins are like the structure. It's based on the proteins that we will have energy, and we will surround these proteins by other foods. Now, I'm sure that you've already heard this, but we want varied and colorful vegetables. A color in vegetables is associated very often with a high level of carotenoids. So colorful vegetables, we're thinking about carrots, spinach, sweet potato, beta card, mustard leaves, winter squash. These foods are very important. And in certain studies, in women who had ovarian cancer, but also breast cancer, when there is regular, when these women consume colorful vegetables on a regular basis, and we've verified the eating of these foods through blood tests, we saw that there was a lower risk of relapse. We've also seen that what we have in the sort of the family of all of the cabbages, for example, so cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, all those sorts of things. This family of vegetables always stand out as major winners when it comes to nutritional studies. So those are the types of foods that you want to eat quite often on your plate. And not just vegetables, but fruits as well have great qualities. I'm thinking about watermelon specifically, very colorful fruit, cantaloupe, apricot, mangoes. Now, regardless of the fruits or vegetables, they are all very good, but there's some that are better than others. If we were to look at the quantity to consume in a day, we assess that if we take 2.5 cups of fruits and vegetables per day, that would be a good level to consume during chemo. If we look at other foods, there are other foods that you would like to put into your menu as well. I'm thinking about grains, such as bread, pasta, cereal. But I would advise that you eat those when you've got a larger appetite. In other words, if you eat those first and eat too much of them, then there won't be room for anything else. So we don't want to eliminate them from the menu, but perhaps eat just a little bit less until the appetite goes up. And when we eat whole products, whole foods with fiber, then we're getting even more nutritional elements, more magnesium, more good nutritional elements.